Okay, folks, I've said it on the channel before, and I'll say it again. I don't really consider myself a Swiftie. I remember when her first album, self-titled, came out, and if I remember correctly, it came out when I was in high school. I'm literally trying to remember what year it came out. Was it like what 2006? Yeah, I was in high school. I was in either probably 10th grade or something. I think. Hang on, 7. Yeah, I was in 10th grade. So yeah, I've been a fan through most of her career. I kind of fell off when Reputation came out, and then after that, it was a few years before, 2 years for Lover, and I'm not into folk music, so Folklore and Evermore didn't do it for me. I mean, listening to it now, there are a couple songs I do like Cardigan and August. But then Midnight's came out. That was pretty solid. It was Lover and Midnight's fall into the same category of Taylor Swift albums that I don't have on repeat, but there are a good number of songs that I like. However, not enough to compare to the days of, let's say, a 1989 or a Fearless, so to speak. Tortured Poets, I did not care for that at all. At all. That just felt like way too much. It just felt like it moved at the same energy the entire time. Essentially, it was an album that was just one big, huge song that never seemed to end, even with all those bonus tracks and whatnot. But yeah, we just had The Life of a Showgirl drop. And I listened to it twice. I went and listened to it this morning when I was cleaning out the closet in my office as background noise. And to be completely honest with you, I enjoyed it. I think that there were some interesting musical choices in terms of some songs. I don't know if I'd say, no, Wood is not my favorite track, but the music, the funk element of it was great. However, it was the shortest song on the album, which this is something not attributed or, related to just Taylor Swift. That's music nowadays in general where it just seems rare for a song to be anything longer than 3 minutes. And if, heaven forbid, a song is 3.5 minutes, that feels like a diamond in the rough because those are rare. I guess attention spans and whatnot. But yeah, I'd say that this was an okay album, but I saw this one girl post a TikTok that it pretty much sums it up well. If you listen to The Life of a Showgirl with your ears, you're going to have fun. You're going to have a good time. You're going to be happy. But if you listen to this album using your brain, you will be confused. And I'm not going to hold you. Some of these songs, I'm like, what in the actual, what's going on here? And this isn't me just coming up here to do a Taylor Swift hate piece. No, this is me saying, hey, I listened to this album and it wasn't giving what I thought it would give. Which then again, being that I'm not a Swiftie, I don't really know what I was expecting. She did say that this album was definitely in relation to her recent Eras tour, which, again, kudos to her because that was a long running tour that generated a lot of money, but she put in a lot of work and it showed. I don't think I ever. The only complaints I heard about that tour were just Ticketmaster related. But other than that, everybody, even like celebrities or, big names in the industry, like, wasn't it, didn't like, I know Stephen A. Smith, didn't like Adam Sandler or somebody come out, or Paul Rudd. They were, someone you would never expect to have the name Taylor Swift fall from their lips, said, hey, my daughter or wanted to go, and, I went, and, a couple of her friends went to and whatnot, and we had an amazing time. I was just blown away. It's like, you got your money's worth and then some. So yeah, the tour, I'm just like, okay, this will be interesting. Mainly because the Tortured Poets department, I didn't care for. It was just all these relationships that for the most part were out of the public eye. So I had no idea who these songs were about. But these songs, I will admit, some of them are really good. Like I said, would I know that is about a guy's private part. So for me, it's like, but like I said, musically, the funk aspect is what brought me into that song. That's the one I've played over and over again. But when I listen to the lyrics, I'm like, ugh, this doesn't do it for me. I think it was Eldest Daughter. That song, interesting. Almost sounds like the kind of song, that would play at her wedding. But then again, if I listen to the lyrics one more time, I'm like, ooh, maybe not. But Father Figure I thought was really good. Mainly, based off George Michael's song. Okay. I know I'm going to mess up the pronunciation, but Opalite, OPA, track number 3. That was pretty good. The opening track, The Fate of Ophelia, I like the beat for that. I think that song and Wood had my favorite beats on the album. Ruin the Friendship, that was a good song as well. Cancel, I'm like, oh, okay, I understand what she's talking about, but it just seems like she's still stuck in the Reputation era in terms of carrying the wounds from that entire era from back in the day. Honey was an interesting bop. The Life of a Showgirl, that was a good song. However, let me put it this way, and I don't think I ever put out my video, even though I did a review of it. Man's Best Friend, I did not like that album. Outside of Manchild, there were maybe one or two other songs I really liked. It was just Sabrina doing way too much with the innuendos, and the album needed more time to bake. It just felt like she was jumping on the momentum of Short and Sweet, when it's like, maybe you should have, let Short and Sweet do its thing, then take a break that was a bit longer as opposed to shorter before dropping the next album. Sabrina's feature on the title track of this album not only outshined Taylor, but in my personal opinion, Sabrina's performance on this one song was better than the entirety of Man's Best Friend. That is just my opinion. So overall, this definitely falls into like the Midnight's Lovers category for me, where there are a few songs I will go back and listen to again. But I will say that I am thankfully not in the minority here. This album released, first of all, didn't it hit the record for the okay, let me read it. On Spotify, this album became the most pre-saved album of all time, breaking the record previously set by Torture Poets Department, the first album to surpass 5 million pre-saves. And it is the most streamed album in a single day in 2025, less than 12 hours after its release. And despite all that, the reviews have been genuinely, for the most part, mixed. I'm looking at the scores right now. Actually, let me refresh it because I had this page open since like 4 p.m. But I just cut the computer off. Let me double check. Yeah, I'm seeing some low B's, high C's, like a bunch of 2-3 star reviews. Like that TikTok I referenced earlier, it's about paying attention to the lyrics, and it's just not it. Now, I will agree. I think what made this album kind of stand out is it does seem radio friendly in terms of pop tunes, because it just seems like, oh wow, it feels like forever since Taylor Swift did an album that had a certain groove to it. But I see a lot of people saying, I don't know why Travis is catching so many strays. I've seen like, oh, isn't that sweet? Taylor dumbed down her lyrics and made them easy to understand for Travis. But it's like, that's the thing. The lyrics just didn't do it for me. This feels like far less complex than her usual stuff. And I know her lyrics are divisive, but it just, with Sabrina's latest album, I'm like, yeah, way too many innuendos. With Taylor's latest album, it's like, it's way too simple. Not playful. Not, anything like that. It just felt simple. Like, really? This is the best you have? And I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. I am very interested to see what other, internet critics have to say. Those who, do in-depth reviews, because this won't it. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's going to be like an expanded release or, you know, deluxe edition with extra songs, but based off the 12 we got, also 41 minutes is not long. This feels like maybe a quarter of the length of her last album. So I will say there's a little bit of everything here, but a whole lot of nothing. I know that sounds weird, but that's really what it boils down to. And another meme I saw is like, it was a repost like, oh, Taylor is credited as the sole writer on this album. And then somebody's like, yeah, we can tell. Yikes. All right. But hey, you know, she's getting married. She just got off tour. I think she even said in a recent interview, she's not planning to tour anytime soon because she's tired. Hey, take that break. We know she's going to tour at some point again, but take that break. Eras was a banger. She did her thing. If she never decided to tour again, I feel like, you know, you couldn't blame her. People would be sad, but you couldn't blame her. That woman put her all into that tour. But in terms of this album, it just feels like a haphazard release where it needed some work. I mean, the foundation of a good album was there. I just love that it was 12 tracks. That showed a lot of restraint. But when you when you listen to the material and whatnot, it feels like a rush job. Just feels like a rush job, you know. So yeah, that's really all I gotta say. Let me know what were some of your favorite tracks. Like I said, the music on Wood and the Fate of Ophelia. I know somebody's gonna be like, you said it wrong. Yeah, I know. Those are my favorite beats on the album. You know, Life of a Showgirl, Sabrina Carpenter came and just ate her role in that song. Ruin the Friendship and Eldest Daughter and Father Figure were pretty good. And those are my favorite ones. So like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks so much for tuning in.